In the heart of Willow Creek, Oregon, a town cradled by dense pine forests and the murmur of a lazy river, life moved at a gentle pace. The streets were lined with quaint shops, their windows glowing warmly against the autumn chill. Locals greeted each other by name, and the air carried the scent of wood smoke and damp earth. Yet, beneath this serene facade, a darkness was stirring. Willow Creek, with its population of just 2,000, was about to become the stage for a tragedy that would unravel its tightly knit community. At the center of it all was Elena Harper, a woman whose warmth and ambition had made her a beloved figure in town. Elena, 34, was a botanist with a passion for preserving the region's wild flora. Her greenhouse, a glass haven filled with rare orchids and ferns, stood at the edge of town, a testament to her dedication. She was known for her radiant smile, her hands always dusted with soil, and her ability to make anyone feel like family. But Elena had secrets, ones she kept buried beneath her cheerful exterior. Secrets that, in the fall of 2023, would draw her into a web of betrayal and violence. This is the story of how a trusted friend turned predator, how a dream of a better future became a nightmare, and how Willow Creek would never be the same. Elena Harper had grown up in Willow Creek, the only child of a schoolteacher and a park ranger. Her childhood was spent exploring the forests, learning the names of every plant and tree. She could identify a Douglas fir by its scent alone, and knew which berries were safe to eat. After earning a degree in botany, Elena returned to her hometown, determined to protect its natural beauty. She opened Willow's Bloom, a nursery that supplied local gardens and offered workshops on sustainable planting. Her business thrived, and her greenhouse became a community hub. Elena's life wasn't all work. She was engaged to Marcus Tate, a soft-spoken carpenter who crafted furniture from reclaimed wood. Their relationship was the kind that made others envious, built on mutual respect and shared dreams. They planned to start a family, maybe even expand the nursery into a farm. But Elena's world wasn't as perfect as it seemed. She had a complicated past with her childhood friend Nathan Cole, a local mechanic with a reputation for charm and unpredictability. Nathan had always been a little too close, his gaze lingering a moment too long. In the summer of 2023, a new face arrived in Willow Creek, Lila Grayson, a photographer with a penchant for capturing the raw beauty of rural life. Lila, 38, rented a cottage near Elena's greenhouse, her camera always slung around her neck. Her arrival sparked curiosity. She was an outsider, yet her warm demeanor quickly won over the town. Lila and Elena bonded over their love for nature. Lila's photos of Elena's plants graced the nursery's website, drawing new customers. The two women spent evenings sipping tea in the greenhouse, sharing stories of their lives. Lila spoke vaguely of a past in Seattle, hinting at a failed marriage but offering few details. Elena trusted Lila implicitly. She confided in her about her dreams, her fears, and even her unease about Nathan's recent behavior. Nathan had been stopping by the nursery unannounced, offering to fix things that weren't broken. His attention felt possessive, almost territorial. Lila listened, her eyes sharp with interest. She offered advice, suggested Elena set boundaries, but there was something in Lila's tone, a calculated edge that Elena, in her trust, didn't notice. Lila was more than a friend. She was a chameleon, hiding her true intentions. By September, Elena and Marcus were deep into plans for their farm. They purchased a 10-acre plot on the outskirts of Willow Creek, envisioning fields of organic vegetables and a small orchard. Elena's excitement was infectious. She spoke of community gardens and farm-to-table dinners. Lila was enthusiastic, offering to document the project with her camera. She spent hours at the plot, photographing the land and sketching ideas for a promotional campaign. Elena was grateful, unaware that Lila was studying the property's layout, noting its isolation from the main road. Nathan, too, inserted himself into the project. He volunteered to repair an old barn on the land, claiming it would make a perfect storage space. Elena hesitated but agreed, not wanting to offend her old friend. Marcus, however, was wary. He'd seen the way Nathan looked at Elena. Tensions simmered beneath the surface. Nathan's visits grew more frequent, his comments laced with a bitterness Elena couldn't place. Lila, meanwhile, seemed to encourage Nathan's presence, subtly stoking his resentment. The stage was set for a collision no one saw coming. On October 12, 2023, Elena and Marcus vanished. The day began like any other. Elena had spent the morning in her greenhouse, tending to a new batch of seedlings. Marcus was at the farm, working on the barn with Nathan. By evening, both were gone. Elena's parents, who lived in nearby Bend, grew concerned when she didn't answer her phone. Elena was meticulous about checking in. especially since she'd recently learned she was pregnant. By October 14th, with no response from either Elena or Marcus, her parents contacted the police. Sheriff Clara Vance, a seasoned officer with a no-nonsense demeanor, led the investigation. She visited the couple's home, a cozy cabin near the nursery. Their cars were in the driveway, but the house was eerily silent. The front door was locked, but the back door's lock was shattered. Inside the cabin was in disarray. Drawers were pulled out, papers scattered across the floor. A small safe in the bedroom was open, its contents, cash and Elena's grandmother's jewelry, gone. Yet there were no signs of a struggle, no blood, no fingerprints. It was as if Elena and Marcus had simply evaporated. Willow Creek was shaken. The local diner buzzed with whispers, and the community center hosted a candlelight vigil. Elena's greenhouse, once a place of life, felt haunted without her presence. Her plants wilted, as if mourning their caretaker. Sheriff Vance interviewed neighbors, friends, and customers. Most described Elena as kind and Marcus as dependable, but a few mentioned Nathan's odd behavior, his late-night visits to the nursery, his insistence on helping with the farm. Lila, too, was questioned, but she played the grieving friend perfectly, tears welling as she spoke of Elena's dreams. Clues were scarce. The couple's phones, found in the cabin, showed no activity after October 11th. Their last known sighting was at the farm, where a neighbor saw Marcus and Nathan working together. The neighbor also recalled seeing Lila's car parked nearby, though she hadn't thought much of it at the time. The investigation stalled. Sheriff Vance felt the weight of the town's expectations. She knew the answer lay in Willow Creek, hidden among the people Elena had trusted most. A breakthrough came on October 16th, when a hiker found a burned backpack in the woods near the farm. Inside were charred remnants of Elena's journal and a locket Marcus always wore. The items were singed but identifiable, and forensic tests revealed traces of blood, too degraded for DNA analysis but enough to raise alarms. The discovery pointed to foul play. Sheriff Vance focused on Nathan, whose truck was seen near the woods that day. When questioned, Nathan was evasive, claiming he'd been fixing a fence at the farm. His story unraveled when a gas station receipt placed him near the woods at the time of the fire. Lila, meanwhile, remained under the radar. She posted emotional tributes to Elena on social media, gaining sympathy from the community. But Sheriff Vance noticed inconsistencies in her timeline. Lila claimed she'd been in Portland on October 12th, but her phone's GPS data placed her in Willow Creek. The pieces were coming together, but the picture was still incomplete. Who had burned the backpack and why? And where were Elena and Marcus? On October 18th, Nathan was brought in for questioning. Under pressure, he cracked. His story was a chilling mix of panic and desperation. He claimed he'd gone to the farm to confront Elena about her distance from him. An argument ensued, and in a fit of rage, he struck her. Marcus, witnessing the attack, lunged at Nathan. In the struggle, Nathan grabbed a wrench from the barn and killed Marcus. Terrified, he hid the bodies in a shallow grave near the farm, then set fire to Elena's journal to destroy evidence. He swore Lila had nothing to do with it, but Sheriff Vance wasn't convinced. Nathan's story felt rehearsed, and his timeline didn't account for the broken lock or the ransacked cabin. She suspected a second person was involved, someone who knew the couple's routines intimately. Lila became the focus. A search of her cottage revealed a hidden journal detailing her obsession with Elena's life. Entries described her envy of Elena's success, her resentment of Marcus, and her plan to take what was hers. The journal hinted at a partnership with Nathan, though it was vague on details. Lila was arrested on October 20th. Faced with the journal, she confessed, but her version of events painted a darker picture. She admitted to manipulating Nathan, exploiting his unrequited feelings for Elena. Lila had orchestrated the confrontation, knowing Nathan's temper could spiral. She'd been at the farm, watching from a distance as Nathan attacked. When the situation escalated, she helped him cover it up, suggesting they stage a robbery to throw off suspicion. The burned backpack was her idea, meant to destroy any trace of their involvement. Lila's motive was chilling. She wanted Elena's life, her nursery, her reputation, her future. She'd planned to take over Willow's bloom, using her photography skills to rebrand it as her own. Nathan, she claimed, was a pawn, too blinded by his obsession to see her manipulation. The graves were found the next day. Elena and Marcus, still in their work clothes, lay side by side in the cold earth. Elena's hand rested on her stomach, as if protecting the life she'd never meet. The town wept. The trial of Nathan Cole and Lila Grayson gripped Willow Creek. Nathan was charged with 2 counts of second-degree murder, while Lila faced charges of conspiracy and accessory to murder. The courtroom was packed, the air thick with grief and anger. Nathan's defense leaned on his mental state, citing years of untreated depression. Lila's lawyer painted her as a victim of circumstance, coerced by Nathan's volatility. But the evidence, Lila's journal, Nathan's wrench, the burned backpack, was damning. In June 2024, Nathan was sentenced to 40 years without parole. Lila received 25 years, her sentence lighter due to her cooperation. The verdicts brought closure, but not peace. Elena's greenhouse was sold, her dreams buried with her. Willow Creek rebuilt slowly. The nursery became a community garden, a tribute to Elena's love for growth. But the scars remained, a reminder that even in the quietest towns, darkness can take root.